Hey everyone, it's Gamefruitpulp, and welcome back to another Minecraft Building Toronto episode. This video is going to be a different one than our usual here on the channel, for a few different reasons, and it may end up being a long one as well, so hopefully you all enjoy and stick around for the whole thing. There will be a chance for a cool reward for those of you who do. With the year winding down to a close, and us being in the heart of the holiday season, I felt like now would be a good time to sit back and reflect on the great times of the past, and what better way to do that in the context of my channel than looking back at my top 10 favorite builds on our Minecraft Building Toronto project. If you are excited about this video and enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button. Last year during the holiday season, I had a really intensive streaming and video schedule because I was participating in a giveaway event with Minecraft. While I wanted to do something like this last year, I couldn't find the time. This year, the event requirements for the holiday giveaway event were a little less intensive than the previous year, so I'm really happy to be able to mix in some Building Toronto content into the holiday season. Additionally, I have a few codes to give away through the holiday giveaway, and I will be giving away 2 Minecraft bundles to viewers who watch today's video. To be eligible to enter the giveaway, you need to be in my Discord, which is linked in the description. I will tell you later in the video the other step you'll need to take in order to join these 2 giveaways. Each giveaway bundle will include a copy of the Minecraft Bedrock version of the game, as well as the Minions, How to Train Your Dragon, and Jurassic World DLCs. And thank you again to Minecraft for providing me with these codes to give away during this holiday season. Before we start with number 10 on my list, it's important for you guys to understand what this list means to me and a bit about my motivations and thought behind my choices. This list is not a list of what I think are the best or the most important builds on the project, but instead the ones that mean a lot to me as the builder, or that bring back good memories and milestones related to the project. This is not to say that the buildings on my list are poorly built. They are some of the best, but my criteria for selecting them wasn't beauty alone. There should be a corresponding video, or in some cases multiple, to almost all of the buildings on this list. So if you want to go into a deep dive on the specific build, you can check the description for each of the buildings and their associated video. Coming in at number 10 is Toronto's 3rd tallest skyscraper, at least for now, Scotia Plaza. This building has been completed on our project since September of 2020 and was built by a number of our former Building Toronto members, with the majority of the building being completed by Storm and Horizon, as well as the interior being completed by Apache and Toxic. This tower makes the list for a couple of reasons, but the main factor is how it has a little bit of everything to offer. The building includes a modern and unique tower, in addition to the traditional corner building that has stood at the historic corner of Bay and King for decades. The final factor that helped this building make the list is the unique scene playing out in front of the building on King Street. The fire scene on King is an homage to a real fire that occurred a few years ago when water got into an underground transformer and caused an explosion. I did an in-depth dive into Scotia Plaza in 2020 when we finished this building, so check that out if you want to learn more about the complex. Moving on to number 9, we don't have to travel very far, with this building sitting across the street from Scotia Plaza. And this, of course, is Commerce Court North. This building was initially completed in August of 2018, which is crazy to think that this building has existed on our project for over 5 years. The initial building was completed by our good friend Starbound, with the interior being completed by Storm. Although it was originally finished in 2018, this building went through a major transformation during our 2 maps and rescalings when it was made larger, mostly on the north and south plane, in order to make it more accurate. When we contrast the original from how it looks now, we can see the great improvement in our building skills, but also our improvement in how we make sure things are built to the right size. This building is a historic building in the history of Toronto as a whole, and one of my favorites that has largely been forgotten about in the ever-growing city of Toronto. If you want to check out the original version of this building, you can check out my video from 2018. Number 8 on our list is the Toronto Dineen Building, which takes us even farther back in time in our original project's history, going back to June 2017, just 2 months after I began to embark on this massive project. This building is noteworthy and makes the list at number 8 for a couple of reasons. The first is the sheer size and beauty of the building. The Toronto Dineen Building is a massive structure, taking up an entire city block, and at the time of the construction, almost doubled our built-up area on the project. It's one of my favorite buildings in the real-world city of Toronto, and I think it's one of the most underappreciated, sitting next to Union Station, but getting significantly less attention. The Toronto Dineen Building was a first on the project, which changed how the project was shaped for the entire future of its existence, and that is the fact that this building was built by someone other than me. Starbound joined us for the first time and built this building, becoming the first builder on the project other than myself. Looking back, this was one of the best things that happened for the project, and I'm certain that if I hadn't branched out and grown the project with other builders, we certainly would have given up on the project by this point. The video for this building is very, very old and is not the best quality, but if you're brave enough to go and watch it, a link will be available for those of you who are interested. Number 7 on my list might surprise some of you because it's a fairly small building and it never got mentioned in a standalone video, and that is the Dineen Building. This building ultimately made the list at number 7 because of the importance it had to me in the building process. Not many people know this, but I was very close to giving up on the BuildingTO project a number of times. I felt like we weren't making good progress, and the time I was spending building the project was being wasted. There are days that I still feel this way, but never as much as I did prior to building the Dineen Building. Star and I built this building together, and I was working on and finally finishing this historic building that I had visited many times in person when I was younger, which ultimately convinced me to keep going with the project. Looking back now, almost 2 years later, I'm glad that I made that choice. As I mentioned, there's no standalone video where I showcase this building, and I'm not sure which video it's first referenced in, so if you want to check it out yourself, you're going to have to join the BuildingTO project map to go and see it for yourself. Our map is available to join with anyone who has the base Java version of Minecraft, and the IP to the server is always in the description of all of my videos. The 6th building on my list of top 10 favorite builds is the one that started it all for the project, a building that has been built many times, both by me in survival and creative mode, and then adjusted again by Von Frank when we rescaled our map. That building, of course, is the TTC Spire Tower, located at the intersection of Bay and Front Street in the northeast corner. I built this tower for the first time on a survival townie server back in 2016, and that experience was ultimately what led me to start the BuildingTO project. I completed the exterior and did my first video about the BuildingTO project with this building in April of 2017. I think that it goes without saying why this building is on the list. Not only is it my favorite complex in the city, Brookfield Place, but it also is a building that started it all for me. Going into our 7th year working on the project, it can't be overstated how big of an impact the TTC Spire Tower has had on my life. It put the wheels in motion for this project to get special attention from a national newspaper and a local Toronto news station. The TTC Spire Tower would have been higher on the list, but looking back on it now, the version I built was honestly pretty bad. The spire was too fat, and the dimensions of it weren't right, which is why Von Frank ended up having to redo most of it later on in the project. Number 5 on my list is the biggest project within the map that has been completed so far, and our first major underground building. I'm of course talking about the Union TTC subway station. This build took a ton of time and research, and Apache and Toxic did an incredible job building it as accurately as they did. This is one of the most important buildings to capture on our project accurately because it is used by so many people every day going to and from work, school, and other things. They did a great job, and I'm pretty sure that it's the most accurate building on our map, looking almost identical in every way. If you are from Toronto or have ever visited the city and taken the subway, you're going to want to check out my in-depth video looking at the station. We are well on our way to finishing the train portion of Union Station as well, and once that is completed, it will really help bring the project to life for those who commute to and from downtown. The 4th building on my list may be another surprising one, especially because it is so high on the list. Number 4 is Thomson Hall, located at the west end of our building area. The exterior of this building was done by one of our past builders, Horizon, and the backstory of this building's creation on the map, along with its sheer size and interior details, is why it is so high up on my list. This building was built way before we were developing this area of the map, going outside of our usual building process on the map, and as a result, it was left as an empty shell for many, many years. This, combined with the difficult circular shape of the concert hall, meant that it was left incomplete until after much of the area around it was finished years later. One of my pet peeves on this project throughout the years have been buildings that have sat with no interiors for long periods of time, because our completion of interiors is something that sets us aside from similar projects. After months of trying, I was finally able to convince Star to finish up the interior of this building, finishing another giant on the map, and one of the more interesting blocks for people to visit. As we move into the top 3 on my list, you're going to learn about what my favorite styles of buildings are, because there is a clear theme within my top choices. We don't have to travel far to find number 3 on that list, crossing the street and going to the Royal Alexandra Theatre. This historic building was completed earlier in the year by Star and I, with the exterior being completed on a live stream. This building is probably the one that I had the most pride in completing on our map. With the small size but high level of detail, it challenged me to be creative and attentive to make it look the best that I could. I think that Star and I did a great job capturing its beauty and history. This was a building that I didn't think I would be able to do well, and that, combined with the fact that I built it on a live stream, made it feel like a large accomplishment for me to complete on our project. Number 2 is one of the most noteworthy buildings in the city, and although it has been largely hidden in Toronto's skyline, the importance of this building both on our project and in the city of Toronto as a whole cannot be ignored. Of course, I'm talking about the famous Fairmont Royal York Hotel on Front Street. This building was close to being number 1 on the list because it was such a fun building to build, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. This hotel is one of the most historic buildings in our city, and it's hard to believe that I completed it over 4 years ago. There's a ton of history with this building, and I think that my video on it is probably one of the best videos that I've ever done on my channel when it comes to giving interesting and historic information. So be sure to check that video out for yourself. Before jumping into the top building on our list, I'm going to explain how you will have an opportunity to win some awesome Minecraft loot thanks to Minecraft for providing me with some awesome codes. Every giveaway bundle will include a copy of the Minecraft Bedrock version of the game, as well as the Minions, How to Train Your Dragon, and Jurassic World DLCs. To have a chance to win the giveaway, simply join my community Discord and find the giveaway in the announcements channel. All you have to do then is react to the message with the giveaway to join, and you'll be pinged if you are the winner. There will be 2 bundles given away 36 hours after this video goes live, so be sure to join fast. This video was a ton of fun to do because it allowed me to look back at things we've built over the many years of developing our map, and has also allowed me to look back at my old videos and see how my content creation style has changed, hopefully in your opinions, for the better. If you did enjoy this video and haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button as it really helps to grow the channel. My favorite building on the Minecraft Building Toronto project is not the biggest or the tallest, but it may be one of the most unique, and it allows me to take the screenshots that imitate my favorite picture of Toronto. Number 1 on my list is the Gooderham Building, located at the intersection of Church Front and Wellington. This traditional flatiron building is more humble than its well-known counterpart in New York City, but it still brings with it a unique triangular-shaped building that is the result of an angled street meeting with a straight one. I love everything about this building, from the shape to the block palette, and to the beautiful recreation of the real-world artwork that sits on the west side wall. This building is my top choice, in part because of the neighborhood that it sits in. This area is my favorite part of the project, with the low-rise detailed buildings that grace Front Street, along with the park that sits behind the Gooderham Building. I think that it's fitting to end this longer video with my favorite view of the project, which features my favorite building in the foreground. Be sure to join my community Discord for a chance to win some exciting Minecraft bundles. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well to catch future content on the channel. If you're a returning viewer and you enjoyed, be sure to comment which of your favorite building on the project is. Maybe it's one that I didn't visit in this video, but one that I should revisit in the future. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch the video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you're looking for more ways to follow and support the channel, you can check the description for a link to my Linktree page with all of my social networks. This has been a Minecraft Building Toronto video. My name is Gamefruitpulp, and I will catch you guys all next time. Have a good one.